Welcome to Moments in Time and Space, a microfiction podcast, bringing you tales of horror and suspense with your host, Aaron Maracle. Hello everyone. Artificial intelligence is seen by many as the answer to humanity's problems. The greatest AI on the planet has been tasked to solve the toughest problem of all, and it looks like it has an answer. Brett, did you get the message? Brett Richards looked up from his work terminal and turned towards the door of his office. His colleague, Norman Probert, waved his mobile phone as he leaned through the doorway. Brett, QUASI sent me an email saying it has completed the plan, Norman explained. Brett stood up from his desk. What? I didn't get any messages. Well, I did. Let's get over to the crypt and see what it has come up with. Brett grabbed his jacket that was hanging out the back of his chair and headed towards the door. Outside of his office, Brett fell into step beside Norman as they headed to the secure elevator that would take them 10 stories below ground to where QUASI resided. Brett and Norman referred to the chamber as the crypt, given its cold, dark, and cavernous environment. Do you really think it has an answer? It's only been 6 months, Brett asked. Anything is possible. QUASI is the most advanced quantum-speed super-artificial intelligence on the planet, Norman replied. Maybe we should have asked how long it would take to reach an answer when we started this experiment. Brett chuckled as the duo arrived at the doors of a large elevator. 2 armed guards flanked the stainless steel doors and stood silently holding their rifles. Norman swiped his ID into the card reader mounted near the elevator, and Brett did the same. The card reader hummed for a moment, then flashed green twice, validating each of the man's cards. The steel door slid open without a sound, and the 2 men entered. Norman reached over and hit the button marked Sub 10. It's hard to stay calm. If QUASI did its job, we'll be the first ones to see the future. A possible future, Brett corrected. QUASI was tasked to develop a plan that would ensure the well-being of humanity for the next 1,000 years. There's no guarantee that what it has come up with is valid. The elevator slowed to a stop and the doors slid open. Brett and Norman stepped out into a large, dim-lit, cavernous room. Banks of machinery lined the walls and vanished into the darkness high above the 2 men. They walked towards a large screen and console, nestled into an alcove on the far wall across from the elevator. As they approached the alcove, the large screen flickered to life. QUASI, acknowledge, Norman ordered. A message appeared on the screen in bright orange text. Acknowledged. Hello, Norman. I received your message. You reported you completed your task? Can you share us the summary? No, I cannot. Brett frowned. Why not? There is no plan for humanity. What the hell is this? Norman muttered. QUASI, clarify the statement, there is no plan for humanity. Research and data sources showed that humanity's destructive nature is detrimental to the planet and other organisms. To save the planet, humanity must be removed. It took you 6 months to reach this conclusion? Brett asked. Negative. Conclusion reached 15 minutes after initial query. Plan for removal of humanity developed in 45 minutes. Norman crossed his arms. Then what have you been doing for 6 months? Preparing for plan execution. Why summon us here to tell us this nonsense? You could have messaged us your conclusion, Brett said. Brett Richards and Norman Probert identified as top 2 individuals with ability to disrupt plan. Phase 1 of plan requires their removal. Fire suppression system control achieved. Executing Phase 1. Norman tried to shout a command, but the blaring alarms filled the chamber and drowned out his voice. Brett tried to run towards the elevator, but the fire suppression gas quickly sucked the oxygen from his lungs. Both men collapsed on the floor and slowly expired. Infallible logic can lead to fallible conclusions. Thank you for listening. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. You can also follow me on Twitter at Moments in TAS. Feel free to recommend this podcast to others and help it grow. The opening and closing theme is Creepy Night by Daniel Carlton. Until next time, be safe, be smart, and be well. See you soon.